Hello there. Welcome to the show. Brought to you in association with Levi Solicitors. There's a 10% discount on your legal fees. LeviSolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. You all right? Dan here with Michael and Moscow.
I'm all right. All right. I've just realised we've got Moscow's camera at Rob height.
Oh, yeah. Should we leave him like that?
He's very much... oh, there we go. He's fine.
I think it might even be Phil height. Welcome to the show. Cheers for joining us on the live stream. If you are a TSB Plus member, say something about Levi Solicitors, Michael, and then I'll just adjust the camera while you do that.
Do you know, someone actually, when I walked back from the grounds here, someone called me and asked me if I knew any good solicitors, and do you know what I said to him?
No.
I said, I do, but I can't remember the name of them. Normally Dan does that bit, but then he's right. It's Levi Solicitors. And you can get a discount, can't you? LeviSolicitors.co.uk/the square ball.
Oh, yeah, you can do all sorts on there as well. Loads of legal services, wills, probate, conveyancing.
Good.
Among others. Endless list. Well, actually, it's not an endless list. That's a lie. There is a limited list.
It's a finite amount of legal services.
It's a very good list. Anyway.
Would they be able to sort out the disputes in Leeds United versus Preston?
Nicely done, Moscow. Well done. Tetchy affair, wasn't it? I think my takeaway feeling from that is that as a Preston, you are fully entitled to approach these games as you like and to shithouses and, rough us up, kick us about, cause trouble, whatever it might be. But it does mean if we win, via a 95th minute penalty, we can rub it in your faces.
It's the right way to win a game like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just scoring on 70th minute, added another in injury time. Boring. Not what you want.
Yeah, as the game dwindled, I was kind of hoping more and more that we would get something like that because of how sweet it would be. And I think there was a point where you would question whether Leeds had that in us.
Yes.
And a point where you'd question whether we had it in us to come back from going a goal down in the first 20 seconds or whatever that was.
It was quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we seem to be pretty good at this now.
Yeah.
You can sort of judge these games by how much you shout "fuck off" when the winning goal goes in.
we were just saying before we started.
You have happy goals sometimes, don't you? Where your first thought is, "Yay, we scored a goal!" But is that when you go "fuck off"? Fuck off, keeper! Not wasting time now. Fuck off! Ollie, you fouled him some point. Fuck off!
Yeah, that was exactly me.
You two were celebrating about that. Fuck off!
Grown up. Yeah, that there was that chance that Bamford had quite late on. When he went through, I should have maybe threaded it through to James. I think he might have tried to do. I couldn't quite tell from the angle I was at either way, but yeah. And you thought, this is the match winner. And then I think their defender made an interception and it went out for the corner and they were celebrating like a match-winning tackle. And I thought,
all for nothing.
Really hope we score now.
There was a lot of that going on. There was something, I couldn't quite work out what Firpo's deal was before the penalty was taken because it almost looked like one of our coaching staff was holding him back from Preston's bench. And then when the penalty was scored, Roden and Ampadu both running to the bench rather than celebrating in the northeast corner where everyone else was, straight to Firpo to give him a big hug. For some reason, I don't know if he was they wanted to just run to the bench and he was the first person there and was in the way. It was quite funny watching him because I hadn't seen what started all that, but from then until a lot of the rest of the game, he was like an extra coach. We had Junior Firpo has joined the coaching staff, which is leadership qualities, which we'd never really seen from Junior before, or if he's been displaying them, we've not been noticing.
Spite, as Darren says in the YouTube comments, is half the fun of being a football fan.
It absolutely is.
Because it's one of the few arenas in which you can revert to being a horrible child, basically, isn't it?
Some would say I do it more than I should.
So what exactly did you do? Just walk us through that winning goal moment. Because I started, I think, because the lads in front of me had gone. So I started, as my dad had gone, obviously yeah. 75 minutes.
As soon as their opening goal
went in. I'm off now. I'll knock it on the head. Enough. But I gave a little bit of a bang to the seat in front. Did that, a little bit of seat banging. Not that robust, I don't think. Then I looked to where the goal was being celebrated, down in the northeast corner. And then, like you said, I immediately started just flinging V's around.
I mean, I'm a million miles from the away fans.
And they can't hear you.
I'm as far away as you could be. And also, I'm at the back of the cop. No, none of their players can hear me either. But I was doing it for my own entertainment. Just shouting stuff.
It's absolutely lovely.
It was great. And it was deserved, wasn't it? It was deserved.
What do the stats say? That's always a good, interesting...
It was deserved.
Like 20 shots, wasn't it? Or
well, they had the goal, and they had that one that Melee made a really good save on. I don't think there was anything else, was there?
They had about 20 minutes in the second half where they seemed to be playing more football than I would have liked. It wasn't one of the games like Cardiff where we just had the ball and kept it. I think Cardiff had 10 minutes before half time. And Peterborough as well. There was going into half time there. It was kind of good that Bamford scored so early in the second half. So they had a bit of that in the second half when you were looking for, I think, changes in midfield to get us kind of back on top would have helped. But then I think Farke decided, he did his thing of waiting and not making any changes and then going just like, fuck it, more strikers.
He put Pirro on in midfield, wasn't it? Sort of a deep, almost like
I think
a
he was,
deeper withdrawn number 10.
Yeah, I think he was basically a 10 with Rutter and Bamford at the front two. But I think Cruyff would have been well within his rights to go like, can I have some help? So Pirro would drop back to help him out.
Because that's what slightly baffled me, is that we essentially sacrificed the midfielder for a more attacking player, but it worked. So.
But it's all good because, I mean, we also had, it meant Ampadu has no problem stepping out of defence and being alongside Graf, and then Graf, like, we're
Grief?
changing his name so often from Groof to Graf to Groif.
But you are correct, by the way, because I had that exact same thing. I made a mental note. It was about the hour mark when, and you can see it on the momentum graph, I'm just looking at it now, it started to swing back in their favour. Because I think from equalising up until basically, just shy of the hour mark, we did that kind of knock it around thing, didn't we? It reverted to type for a bit. And then they had it for a bit. And I thought, this is new and interesting and different.
We came out strong in the second half as well, to the extent that we were, 5-10 minutes in, and they were faking injuries and stuff to slow the game down. Like the keeper had a mysterious thing where he went, I'm just going to have a little rest. And
then not have a rest because it looked like we were carrying on, but then he decided to have a rest anyway.
Yeah, and then a minute later, there was quite a weak free kick given as one of their players cleared it. It was barely a foul, but he stayed down for a while as well, trying to slow it and turn the momentum a little bit. So it felt like they realised the issue at that point. They were like, shit, we need to start shithousing a bit more.
I was going to say, it's interesting, again, just go back to the momentum graph, that they had that big spell of pressure, and then we made the subs, and then for the final 10 minutes plus injury time, it was all us, apart from that, obviously the late wobble after the goal, because you've got to then shut up shop, haven't you? But it was all completely us, and it looked like they'd settled for, because they took off that winger who was causing problems for Archie Gray in the away game.
Did he go off?
I think he went off. Was it? What was his name?
Miller.
Yeah, he went off, and at that point, I don't know enough about Preston to know if it's true, but it looked like, I thought, if they're taking him off and he's their big problem causer, then maybe this is where they're settled for it, and they're trying to now preserve the draw. But because it invited us on, didn't it? And we
did. They preserve the draw? I can't remember.
Until the 94th, 5th minute. I think I checked at that point, and it was still 1-1.
Good.
But not for much
Their
longer.
Manager's not happy either, which is good.
Is he crying?
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't have been a penalty.
He thinks it shouldn't have been a penalty. He says there were a number of things that shouldn't have been given. Preston match leads. Fair result was 1-1.
Right.
Yeah, he thinks Roden committed a foul in the build-up to that, and then he thinks that the ball has come off the player's body onto his hand. And I haven't seen the Roden foul, but
I hope he's right.
The ball did come off his body onto his hand, but from the one replay I saw, but that was why it was handball.
Mm-hmm. I thought if it deflected off you, it's not, is
well,
it?
It depends if it's deflected off you, as in it's been twatted at you and it comes off your leg and bounces. But if you've controlled it onto your own hand, it's a different matter.
His hand is well away from his body, and the ball is on the way into the penalty area, into a dangerous situation. So I think, I just don't think there's really much to argue about there, unless you are Ryan Lowe, who seems to want an argument. He had a right proper go at one or two of his players at one point. He was throwing the ball because Archie Gray skinned a couple of them. And I don't know if it's probably like you're letting a teenager make you look like chumps, but chucking the ball down. I was shouting at them both, and the player, one of them, did look quite like surprised, shocked, miffed, but not exactly motivated as if he was boss, that's good.
Well, Wedgebot in the comments is saying it was never a foul by Roden, never ever. So I'm prepared to take that as
Wedgebot is the man.
Comprehensive.
Did you have a little
qualified referee? Wedgebot, no.
You didn't. Wanted to know because I was thinking, just back to Ryan Lowe, by the way. I was thinking he had a scum face. I've now realised it's a scouse face he's got. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like. He was being a dick earlier in the game as well. First half, he refused to give the ball to Archie Gray for a throw in as well. He had it in his hand and he just went, you get it. Pathetic. Grow up.
Oh, exciting development. I've just had an email from Every saying they're expecting my parcel, which could mean it arrives. It might not. But back to the game. I like that. I like that he's upset. That makes me pleased because their approach was to try and upset us and to disrupt us, wasn't it? And it's disrupted him. His mojo has been disrupted.
And on handballs, did their keeper handball it outside the box?
I was miles away from it to see that, but I have heard that said.
Well, let's throw to Wedgebot.
It looked very close to me. I thought it was outside the box. Right. Certainly bits of him were outside of the box. His whole body was definitely not in the box.
Oh, yeah, he was well out. I don't know which part of it touched. Dan James was really funny during that spell because there seemed to be a few situations where Preston just sort of let the ball to each other, and then Dan James just came motoring in. He was like, "I'll have that."
Yeah,
and he was pretty. He was unlucky with that. There was one where he got the lob,
chip, yeah,
and that went over, and then that one was when the ball bounced to Bamford, and he couldn't quite get the shot, so it was cleared off before it got near the line. Really, but it was kind of funny watching Dan causing all those problems. And he, I think it was Ali McCann who tried to break him in two on the touchline in the first half when he got a yellow card for it. And I'd like to see that again because that didn't.
Oh, that's like the body check type one.
It didn't look. I mean, it looked. There's body checks, and that was a pretty strong one. But what I liked about it was Dan James sort of got straight up as if he wanted to fight, and then backed away from it. So I'm not going to bother with this. And then after the player got booked, he sort of turned around and started trying to have a go at Dan James about it. And Dan James was like, "Well, I didn't even go down. Like, I haven't done anything. It's not like you faked that." And then he was like, "Well, I didn't. I stood up to it, and it was pretty good going." Unlike, I'd like to see Ruter's yellow card as well for diving as to what had gone on there. So
I think he went
Wedgebot to give us some more information.
I thought he went down easily, but equally
he might have been avoiding a tackle,
and it equally felt like he did give free kicks for similar things on several occasions.
But then
on that time he decided against it, and there was one ludicrous dive that they did. And it was, I can't tell who it was because it was at the other end, but it was someone who was far too tall and shit looking to be diving. It looked like a centre-back decided to do one.
Yeah.
You know, you can just see someone, it's like kind of like a shot giraffe kind of thing going on. You're like,
do you go out shooting giraffes? It sounds like the thing Ken Bates would have done in his younger years.
yeah, I can't afford it. I'd love to do it, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's just too expensive.
Yeah.
Just far too expensive.
Where would you aim? Neck? Big target.
Big target.
There was Ledson's tackle on Cruyff as well that kicked off all the...
Was that a red? I mean, that could have been a red, I thought.
It looked pretty strong.
He looked like he came horizontally at him when he knew there was zero possibility of him getting the ball.
And I think from that point onwards, I think Joe Rodon wanted to win as well because he went, I don't know, if we need to look and see whether he's got any previous problems with Ryan Ledson, but he was right into the middle of it, somehow managed to escape getting booked. Bamford got booked for that one. I don't know if it's just because he's more famous. And then...
Bamford got booked in that because I think the ref was like, I keep booking their players. I really need to book a Leeds player.
Yeah.
I'm just going to pick on someone.
Well, should we wrap up some of the because we've got people in the comments on YouTube who are helping us with our perceptions.
And these are all fair-minded people.
Exactly. Objectivity is what this show is all about. Richard, thank you, is saying that the Ruter, Bamford and Firpo yellows were all nonsense. That's fine.
Good.
With regards to Ruter, Biggie T is saying that it got kicked in the right shin. It wasn't a dive. And then Lee is also saying didn't dive but looked dramatic.
Yeah. It looked from a distance. It was like one of those where you kind of the foul or you get tackled and you're not diving to try and win it, but you're just like, oh, I'm going down, so I'll just go down. And you end up sliding. Like, what's the most fun way to fall is almost the way to. I would be thinking about it.
The referee was absolutely shit.
I was going to say, it's funny, isn't it?
We really have to draw attention to just how bad he was.
Well,
David Webb.
On that, it says a lot, doesn't it? That's Jason Bourne's original name, isn't it, David Webb?
Don't know.
So maybe he's been released from the programme. Treadstone's finished now. He's out making a new career as a shit EFL referee. Now, I was just going to say, it says quite something, doesn't it, Michael, that we've come out of a game where we've been given a 95th minute penalty to win it by the ref for what they're saying is a questionable handball, and we've come away saying the ref was still shit.
I know I speak as someone who has not played the game at anything like a reasonable level, but he just seemed to have a fundamental lack of understanding of what was going on with some things. Like the amount of, would you call it like a pre-foul? You know, like where the ball's in the air and their player fouls our player before it actually goes to the first challenge.
Yeah, like a little nudge or something.
Yeah, like the amount
there were
of,
a couple of those.
The amount of like every time it was going forward, their attackers would back in and like try and move the defender out of the way, and vice versa with the strikers. And he just seems to not notice it at any point in the game. It's like, just fucking watch what he's doing the same. He's doing the same move over and over again here. At one point, it did make one of the backing in did make Junior Firpo do like a scorpion kick, which was fun.
There was a point
do a hooky back heel.
There was a point at which they lofted a ball forward, and it happened right in front of me. And I was like, "How's that not being given?" And you saw the attacker put his hand into Ampadu's back, which caused him to be thrown off. You know, so he was jumping up for the ball or whatever. just enough to be thrown off, but it wasn't like a proper shove, but he did just enough. The ref saw it and he was like, no.
Yeah.
So, but that is is objectively a foul.
Yeah, there was the one where Roden got pushed over and he gave a corner as well. I think for not noticing things I quite enjoyed, I think we were winning right at the end in stoppage time.
Were we winning?
Right at the end in stoppage time.
Only for a few minutes.
Alan Brown off the ball had Ethan Ampadu in a headlock and was not letting him get up. And it was like to just to the left of the referee's eye line. And it's like, could you not see that there is an actual just fight going on? And then sort of once he turned around and he saw them both on the floor, stop things, and then because he hadn't seen anything, he couldn't give anything, so he kind of got them both over, and he's like,
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I don't think I like what you were doing, but until I see it later, they pretty much. I think Ethan Ampadu was trying to be more of a lover than a fighter, but Alan Brown was, in full-on strangle mode. It wasn't good. Well, it was actually hilarious. It was great.
They were a dreadful set of bastards, though.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that we played them twice in quick succession. They've been like that in both games, and we're the ones that ended up with a red card across the two games. That's unfair.
I'm wondering if they thought, because sort of those things at the end where it was kicking off, the tackle on, I keep calling it tackle, the foul on Grauf that got everybody tackle, and I keep calling him Grauf. But it seemed like that had been building up.
It's because there's a Cruyff-Krauf difference, isn't there? So then we've gone Gruev, Krauf,
Should we just call him Jordi?
Ilya. It seemed like it had been building up across both games, but was it particularly tetchy before Meslier shoved that guy in the face? And he wasn't even playing today, but it seemed like Preston took more of an approach in this game. It was like, oh, well, we wound Meslier up and got a red card last time, so we'll do that from the start this time. But I think...
Get in their heads, lads, get in their heads.
I'd like to say we kept our cool very well, but then watching Joe Roden, who is conspicuously limping, like basically after we'd scored and screaming, he chased the ball down into the south stand holdings and was celebrating with the crowd and looked as if... I thought Cooper was going to replace him because he couldn't run, although he did run very well to sort that out, but also head had completely gone in a really good way. He wasn't going to go and fight anybody, but he did look like he'd just gone full maniac mode.
They kept fouling Road on today as well when he was running out from the back with it. Like every single time they fouled him, and he was only given as a foul about half the time. But I don't know, this is where I think the ref just was completely failing to get a grip of it, because he let it happen a few times. Then it's like, oh, we can sort of do that, and it becomes all right.
Was it a foul on Rodon where the ref booked one of them quite early? There was quite an early booking, and I thought, oh, that set the tone for it. That should hopefully stamp it out a little bit now. He's made it clear that he won't tolerate for these shenanigans.
To go the other way,
Rodon
should have been booked after 18 seconds as well. The player got on the wrong side of him and he just hauled him down.
Yeah, in the Premier League, that's a booking, isn't it?
The Premier League, there was about a dozen bookings before half time in that, including for a lot of stuff that wasn't even given as a free kick.
How many bookings were there in the end? Let me have a look.
I mean, they've just remembered the Firpo one, where it wasn't given as a free kick. The ref didn't appear to be playing an advantage. Then the ball went out and he decided to book him, like, after a while. He just, because I think someone was down injured, and he went, it's probably a yellow. Yeah. I've remembered now.
Firpo got there first to the ball, like, by quite a long way, and then the guy turned up and put his ankle in the way. And then we tried, and then he got upset about the way we'd given them the ball back from the throw-in.
That was
so we made Sam Byram take the throw-in again. So he gave it to Ampadu, and Ampadu was brilliant. Perfect.
That was the right thing to do.
Although he was claiming to the Preston players, like, look, I was trying to do it as a goal kick. Psych. That was all quite entertaining. So it was all
the thing is, you don't want to give him a goal kick because that prick would have taken half an hour over it again.
Yeah.
Dan James' goal was good.
Yeah. Really good.
Yeah. He's good in the air, and Firpo with another assist. I thought Firpo's cross was brilliant.
Yes.
It was perfect.
Yellow cards, it was 4 to us, 6 to them in the end.
We didn't have 4 yet. We should not have had 4 yellow cards in that game.
He was just guessing a lot of the time, wasn't he? I was just what I was going to say before. Like with some of the balls that got for throw-ins and corners, they just guess.
Yeah, and every single corner as well, Rute was basically just being held in place. If you go, I'm going to go back and watch it. It's just his marker. He's not even watching the ball.
Are you going to watch it objectively, Michael?
On any of them. He just stood holding him, not even watching where the ball's going.
Yeah.
Fucking nonsense. And at several points, the linesman was looking at it too, and the referee was looking at it. And between them, they were like, the linesman.
I'm making a decision.
The linesman who was in front of the East Stand had a bit of a nervous day, I think. Yeah. There were quite a few times he just looked at the ref and was like, Can you tell me if that's that way? I'm going to go that way. Yeah. I'm going to wait for you to do it.
Maybe he's wind affected. It looked quite blustery on that
It
side.
was blustery. Hold the flag as well, so Groove can take the corner. I'm not sure if that's not allowed.
You could do what you used to do at school and put your finger on the ball as well to keep it in place. That's what the liner should have done. Just keep it
Just laid on his stomach,
Yeah, just
holding it.
lay on his stomach like that. Put his finger out. Just hold the ball still for him, because then it would save time on having to replace the ball. Sorry, wouldn't it, for the corner?
Good job. Lucy from Peanuts is not an official in the EFL.
The tackles won stats, just seeing that, they won 21 tackles to our 6, which goes to show the sort of contrasting approaches towards the game, doesn't it? And we made more clearances than them. They did more blocks than us. All very exciting, isn't it?
The way Grove opened up the other side of the pitch and then passed it to... Did he go straight to Somerville? I think he did. And then Somerville's ball... I thought he'd overhit it, but I think he actually put a lot on it so that Firpo, when he got there, would just be able to first time it over. Dan James, surprisingly good in the air. I noticed he was winning headers on the edge of the penalty area as well. I don't know if...
Was it header he scored with?
It was.
Yes, it was.
He's great in there. I thought, actually, Dan James was probably our best player today.
Yeah, he's really good.
I think he got man of the match on the telly.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well deserved. He just caused them problems the whole time, and also was helped out defensively well.
I was going to say, because you could argue that in the away game at Preston, he didn't track back as well as perhaps we've seen him do in recent times to help Archie out against that young man who was causing him problems in the away game.
He put in some great crosses. Archie Gray put in one absolutely beautiful cross as well. That was pretty... we were making some good chances in the first 20 minutes. It's a shame, one, that we decided to give them a goal start, and two, that we weren't popping more of those in the net, but it did make for a very exciting finish.
That prick didn't get booked for pushing Archie Gray into the advertising boards either, did he?
No.
That was a snide little move. That it was very clearly deliberate. The ball had already gone out of play, and he just went, fuck off.
Went full McGinn.
Go into the boards.
Bullying a child.
But you book him.
Yep.
Fucking idiot. Honestly. I can't believe I've won, and I'm still so annoyed about the ref thinking back about the various things he just completely failed to deal with.
Yeah, and Dan James's chip. Yeah, Lee's just mentioned the chip. I was right behind that. I was like, oh, please.
He played a through ball to himself in that as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because he tried passing it to Bamford, who didn't quite get to it, and he just went, carried on straight through.
Bamford was fun today, wasn't he?
Bamford, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. In front of goal, some of the composure was not...
It's typical Bamford, wasn't
But
it?
he didn't have any... I don't think he had any good chances, did he?
No, there was two in the second half with both him and Piru. They both had balls through where you're thinking just shoot. There was one in particular, Piru was probably a more glaring one, when I think Urrutia kind of popped it off for him, and he's running through the middle of... and you're like, this is where he arrives, and you want him to, I think, one touch, fine, and then you want him to just left foot shoot, but he started dawdling a little bit. So we ended up, there was some dawdling was the enemy with both him and Bamford. Where you saw what happened at Peterborough. Just take a shot. If it ends up in the stands, we like Johnny Alioski, we'll like you. It's fine. But if it doesn't, it could be in the top corner.
Yeah.
Have you got access to the internet there, Michael?
Yes.
Are you on Twitter at all?
I can be.
Yeah, because do you want me to just show you on my laptop? I'd like you to read out Daniel Farker's comment here, please, if you could. There you go. There you go. So this is Mark Wilson Radio said, asked Farker post-match how he remained so calm after the penalty win, and then he said...
Believe me, the fire was burning inside, but the game was exhausting and I was tired. I wanted to dance on the table if it was necessary to stay focused.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
I think next time we score a late penalty, somebody should bring a table out. Don't give him a choice.
With some cake on it, preferably.
Yeah, maybe a pole.
Just going back to the very, very start of the game, how did you feel about that early goal going in? Because I
felt bad about it, Dan, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Negative.
I
would have preferred it if we'd either scored it or not conceded it.
Thank you. That wraps that up there. No, I meant in the context, like sort of wider context of the season, in that we've been fairly impervious at home, particularly, since we got that early wobble out of the way. And there's that nagging thing, isn't there, as a Leeds fan, where you think we're always capable of doing something a bit Leedsy sometimes. There's always that fixture that you think at some point we're going to trip up and do something daft and concede a stupid goal or lose a stupid game. And I wondered with that early goal, I thought, is this the one? Is this where it all starts to go wrong and they start to drag us into a battle, which is what they tried to do, obviously.
We've had these games before, haven't we, this season? I'm sure we've had like Middlesbrough, there was a spate of early goals, wasn't there? And
we've done a lot of these.
It happened in another game, didn't it?
We've loved a stoppage time goal at the end of both halves as well.
Yeah, Swansea scored in the first minute as well. That's the one I'm reaching for.
Yeah.
We've not been exactly sensible at times, and it was just a scruffy old mess of a thing wasn't it? And I don't know exactly. I have wondered with the stoppage time stuff if there's a reason. Like, can you put your finger on something? And if there was a reason, I think, and I'll have to go for it again and watch it again. But I think that came from what I think is a sort of a persistent problem, is that we're just quite bad at throw-ins.
Yeah, we are. My dad always mentions this, yeah.
And that one, I think, was thrown. Archie takes them on that side, and then it was to Bamford, and Bamford was crowded out, lost the ball, and that's when Roden had to bring the guy down. There's the free kick, and then the free kick goes over, and it just becomes a mess. But it wasn't long after that, in the first, the third minute, Farker kind of let a ball roll past him. Bamford had to go and get it for a throw-in. Then there was a delay because the referee wanted a balloon popping. Then Archie...
Russo stamped on that balloon really angrily.
Then Archie... Well, it was, because the referee was like, we're not playing until this balloon is popped. I mean, there's two other balloons. We're not dealing with them all. And then Archie had the throw, and then we just lost the ball. And it seems to... I mean, Jesse Marsh probably made like bigger dents in Bielsa ball than anything that's happened since. But I do remember the days when we take a throw in and it felt like the entire team was all running into different positions and stuff. Whereas now it's just kind of, I keep looking at the other players, looking at Archie, and I'm like, is he 18 yet? Yeah. He's had his birthday.
Not yet.
You've just reminded me of something else I didn't like about the referee. I'm sure this won't be the case when you see his face, but he'd look like Jesse Marsh from a distance. I was thinking,
right.
There's something about the way he moved. And I was just thinking, you little prick.
Did he?
The whole time.
Was it as if he was wearing incredibly like spray on 501s?
He should get more referees in jeans.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Well, they used to wear like blazers, didn't they, and suits and stuff back in the day when it all kicked off, the old Corinthian spirit and all that. Do it again.
Bring it back. It's disrespectful.
Yeah, we could tidy up throw-ins then. I think set pieces in general. I was sitting next to, if you want to get the gantry, Bell out. Burley Banksy made the point when Firpo took the free kick. He was like,
"Gantry,
why do we do anything more interesting with the free kicks? Because it is generally just either Piru or Bamford or Somerville will go like, oh, I'm going to hit this. And today it was Firpo. It was like, I'm going to hit this. And they never go in. So I do wonder, and the corners do seem to be, we get ourselves into a bit of a mess defensively. All the attacking corners seem to be overhit. There were some pretty good ones.
Ruto had a good chance, didn't he? Grove put one right into his head.
Yeah.
It was very windy. I was going to say it was very windy today, as we saw from the ball rolling out of the quadrant. No, it's interesting that because, my dad's been mentioning that for a couple of weeks, like saying, are we really bad at throw-ins? Because exactly the same thought. I remember the ones under Bielsa where there was like three of them had all running little triangles and there'd always be an option and they didn't, but they end up kind of doing that default, throwing it to the man who's nearest to them who gives it back to them, but badly more often than not.
I know it's great. Sometimes takes ages over him because he's just looking
for an option.
I've got no one to throw it to.
Yeah, and don't know what to do. I'm a child. Those are the moments when he looks really young, where he's. I think it's one of the things he finds toughest is trying to take a throw in. Speaking of Cruyff, his namesake, always used to. He took throw-ins because people would give the ball and people were like, "You're brilliant," and he'd be like, "Well, because they give the ball back to me and I'm unmarked."
Yeah, and it's about getting it moving early, isn't it? Because we often seem to wait with throw-ins and then let everybody get into position and then not quite know what to do.
It's the same thing with Meslier and the old punching thing, which I noticed there was a big
he should have caught that though.
Well, it's 50-50 because if he catches it and then he doesn't immediately release it on the counter attack, everyone's like, "What are you fucking holding on to it for?" So I don't
catch it and then immediately release it.
Yeah,
well,
that's what I'd do.
Just about being switched on it. I mean, you'd coach him to do that.
That's what
just catch it.
I think the thing with the punch was it went to one of their players on the edge of the box as well. So you have to go, well, it's not really worked out
because you've put us back under pressure.
That's not exactly worked out very well. It's one thing if you get it really far clear and we can break or whatever. I will say they looked shit today when we just leathered it forward and chased after it.
Yeah,
because they weren't very comfortable on the ball, and I think like that's maybe a legitimate way of getting at some teams. Yes. Is just twatting it really high and really long.
That's what Bamford occasionally offers, doesn't he? Like just putting the striker, the centre half on the back foot.
Well, that's how the ball ended up when the goalkeeper was outside his area because Ampadu tried to play a long pass from wide, curving it round to Bamford.
Was that the one that went to James, was it?
Yeah, and then Bamford was like, I think I'm offside, and also that's nowhere near me. And the ball was just kind of rolling, and then Dan James from probably his own half. So I reckon I can get that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Paul's just saying in the comments on YouTube, Mez is instructed not to play out quickly. Farker prefers build-up.
It is obvious that he does do that. Like there's
I guess there's a lower risk of losing the ball, isn't there, and another turnover in possession.
There's kind of an instinct sometimes where he looks like he's going to throw it, then he just goes, oh, no.
I think I wonder about whether corners are a different case though, because on that chance, once we blocked, after we punched it and they had the shot, once we blocked it, we had a counter attack straight from there, and everybody was like, boom, let's go forward, because because a corner is a situation where you've basically got all 10 of their outfield players pretty much around our box, and if you can get over them really quickly, it's slightly different to if they're all kind of starting, if there's only 6 of their players attacking, and a bunch of them are back, and you're getting Melier like kind of starting a quick counter. In that situation, there's not really much room to do it in, but from a corner, I think if you can get them turned around and chasing back towards goal, Somerville, James, it could be pretty exciting. Yeah, he's got to punch better and maybe catch it, but maybe also just don't boo him if he doesn't catch it. It kind of feels counterproductive.
But just wrapping up on the sort of
also his save was really good.
Yes, the tetchiness of the game that Farkas saying was like it was a bit of a battle to stay cool in the circumstances with lots of tackles flying in and whatnot. And on the penalty, he sent a message from the bench carried by Rodon that Peru should take it. He's one of our best finishers, if not the best. Ice cold.
I think there was
like vanilla ice.
I think there was a bit of a mix up there because the bench. It seems like the bench were panicking.
Yeah.
But then I think on the pitch they knew what was going on.
The 2 of them did anyway.
Yeah, I think between them they knew.
Because we were saying before, weren't we, like Peru was stood at the edge of the D with his body shape ready to take it.
On the bench, they were probably looking at Pat Bamford with the ball in his hands and going,
no,
no, let someone else.
And they were screaming, trying to signal that Bamford shouldn't take it, and then they made Rodon run to the bench, and then Rodon was sprinting up, but then Rodon got kind of about 10 yards away from Bamford, and it looked like he'd never actually delivered the message because the swap over happened, and I couldn't tell if he'd shouted it from a distance, which would maybe give him the game away if all the Preston players there. He's like, don't give it. So
because you'd fully expect Preston to start shithousing and trying to get in someone's ear, wouldn't you, under those circumstances? So it made sense to me anyway. And
Bamford looked delighted in all the in the celebrations as he's beating Peru's chest like it's a cheap xylophone.
It's funny. Well, I was going to say the artwork for the show that's on YouTube. It's a great photo of Peru just like celebrating the goal, but it just caught Bamford at a moment where he looks like he's glaring at him a little bit. So rest assured, it was just a mere slip up by the photographer, I think. But Farkas saying these are the best wins of the season. We've had electrifying home performances with many goals, but where games were done at half time. But somewhere games were done at half time. But to win this game, when you have problems and start too slow, these are season-defining moments. That's interesting, isn't it?
It could be. If only those fucking babies at the first, second, and third place would stop winning games all the time.
It does make a big difference, because if it was a point, it would be 6 points behind Southampton, wouldn't it?
And you're then looking at playoffs, aren't you, realistically? Just, I know a lot can change, and we've got them on the last day of the season, but, given the gap, it's difficult. I know we've got Norwich as well this week. So,
and we have been here before, haven't we, in second place with a Daniel Farker team chasing us down, and that demoralising thing of, I feel like there were several times in that first Bielsa season where I'd get onto the low fields thinking Norwich had drawn. You check your phone, you're like, fucking hell, Pookie scored in the 97th minute, bloody hell. And you like, it's just a relentless chase. So at least we're giving ourselves a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we get there, if we get over the line, imagine how good it's going to feel, particularly if it is that final day. It's all shaping up, isn't it?
We divert the open top bus through Preston.
Maybe. Graham Smith has generously given the ref 4 out of 10.
I don't know what for. I mean, giving us a late penalty.
That was good.
I did enjoy that bit.
How did you manage to get us all the way through a YEP gallery that you can actually see the ref score?
Yeah, I think whoever it was has answered 14 surveys and has finally got there.
Somebody's done it for you. Okay. Well, the fans on that person's laptop are probably...
Oh, no, just an update. That was the Preston Boxing Day game. They've only just got to the end of the gallery now on the YP. Hey.
Saul Graham today's grown a beard.
Has he? Good.
Not a proper beard, but, that sort of a beard. Stubbly.
He should go for a beard, but without a tash.
Yes.
The classic look. Right, should we wrap it up there then, because we're talking silliness now. We're going to record with Phil after this, get the reaction from Phil from the press box. We'll find out what Smith was on about. See what Phil made of it all. That's to come out on Monday.
Some more sniping at Preston. That's one of the most disgusting kits I've ever seen.
Ah, yeah.
It was full Macron stripe.
I quite like the colour.
Did you? That was horrible.
Yeah.
No, it was too close to white. It reminded me a little bit of QPR when they turned up in that very pale mint green.
It's yellow, but not very.
Yeah,
Piss
that
yellow.
was all right.
It's somewhere between the Calmer Gold and the hearing aid beige that Bates.
Light dehydration.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that'd be a dark piss.
No, not just mild dehydration, not complete dehydration when you piss in Lucozade.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, that's the end of that then, isn't it? We'll catch up with you for all this other stuff through the week. Good propaganda potentially this week as well.
Hopefully.
Could be good. We'll see you in a bit. Cheers for joining us.